It's Sheila and welcome to another episode of PJs and Coffee Time. PJs and Coffee Time, if you aren't familiar, is a type of video that I do based on being comfortable in whoever you are. You don't have to be made up if you don't want to, and if you want to be full glam, that's totally fine too. You can be in your PJs or you can be completely dressed or you can have on sweats. It's called a time where you can just be comfortable with who you are. If you are a first-time watcher, I'd like to extend the opportunity. You can hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell right next to it. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you. Today's tip of the day is going to be something that I just purchased this week. I've been on a budget here lately, if you aren't familiar with, and so I've been trying to find cheaper ways to accomplish the things or get the things that I need and still be as effective as I always have. Where else can I go to find razors that are going to be inexpensive? So I went over to TJ Maxx, my favorite place to shop, which you know TJ Maxx have such a large variety of things ranging from clothing, household needs, to skincare, to makeup, to whatever. Pet care. They just have everything in TJ Maxx. I was walking through the store trying to, just do what I like to call my beeline. Like I go all over the store looking for whatever and see that I can see. And it just makes me happy to do that. I stumbled upon some razors. By the name of Precision Beauty. They are 3-blade disposable razors, and they say gently glides over skin for a closer, smoother shave. And the package comes with 4 blades in them. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Am I gonna be able to get this without such a bad glare? I'm not sure, hopefully I am. But they were the price of $3.99. I don't know if you can see that. I've already cut them open and I've used one of them. I used it for a second time this morning, and I must say, I'm highly impressed. I like the fact that the little tip kind of moves with the body, so it's not in a stay put position. So when you're hitting those curvier areas or those little corners or crevices of the body, depending on where you like to shave, it kind of moves with you. And I got a really good shave. I don't feel like I'm not itchy, I'm not scratchy. Like sometimes where it feels like you kind of went a little bit too deep into your skin and you're almost kind of like itchy, burny, scratchy feeling. I'm not at that point or anything like that. So I actually think at this point, my only second time of using them, but I think for $3.99, I think it was a good buy. So I totally skipped over my beverage of today, because I always feel that we should have a beverage when we sit down and have girl time, PJs and coffee time or whatever. So I don't know if you all are familiar. If you watch my vlogs, you totally know this. I have been obsessed with Chick-fil-A. I go through these spells where I asphyxiate myself with something and I just don't want to let it go. Ironically, my son is the exact same way, and I laugh at him and he laughs at me. So, hey, But anyway, if you have the Chick-fil-A app, then you know that you get like free perk points whenever you use the app to order food or pay for your food or whatever. Let them, buzz your little, just like click your little app or whatever. And then sometimes you get free stuff. So initially, that's kind of like what got me back into Chick-fil-A. When I was eating the Southwestern salad, y'all know that was my jam. Still is my jam. I absolutely love that salad. The other day, I had like a free chicken sandwich. And I thought, I never get their sandwiches there because I'm not really into bread. It's not in my diet, so to speak. So I try to save from as much bread as possible. But, I will have like a breaded strip every now and then because, I love chicken strips. So I was thinking the sandwich wouldn't be so bad. And I got the sandwich and I asked them to add lettuce and tomato on it. And I ate it as a sandwich. And it was so good. Like I said, I don't do bread a lot, but every now and then I will. But while I was sitting there, I was thinking, I don't want to have soda every single time I go there, even though I love their Diet Dr. Peppers. There's something about their Diet Dr. Peppers that tastes better than any Diet Dr. Pepper in the world, okay? Seriously. So I was thinking, you know what? I want their diet lemonade. Now, before in the past when I've gotten their diet lemonade, it has been tart. and it kind of like made me not go get it anymore. Like every time I got it, I would have to add so much blender to it because it was like, man, they make this with just nothing but lemon, no water, you know? But I decided to get it, and I don't know if maybe they kind of got complaints about it or maybe someone, I don't know what, but now it's on point, y'all. It is the best. And I've gotten it at like 3 different Chick-fil-A's, and it's been good. So it's not like, oh, they finally got it right at this particular Chick-fil-A, because before it was always the same. No matter which Chick-fil-A I got it, it was always just, you know. But now it's like perfect. 3 different Chick-fil-A's, perfect. So all of that to say, I'm drinking on some diet lemonade from Chick-fil-A. It is one I got yesterday, but I didn't drink. I actually got it like late last night, and I didn't drink all of it. I stuck it in the freezer, let it kind of like get like icy chilled, and now I only have like a little bit of it left. But I had my coffee earlier this morning, and then I thought, you know what? I want some more of my lemonade. So, absolutely love it. So let's go ahead and get into the video, shall we? This video is going to be based on questions, comments, and things of that nature that I've gotten. First and foremost, I would like to say to each and every one of you all that follow my vlogs, follow my channel in general, you guys know this has been a very trying time in my life. I'm jobless. I have been going through a lot. I'm searching for a job, and I appreciate so much all of your love, all of your concerns. I mean, emails, text messages, comments below. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I'm so appreciative of it, and I love you all so much for it. But I also realize that you all have a lot of questions about a lot of things that I may or may not have already shared with you all. Some of it I probably won't go into great detail for a lot of different reasons, but I am going to try to share with you all some things that you might have questions about in hopes to make you all understand things a little bit better, I guess. So, first of all, I want to take you guys back to a video that I did, I don't know, several videos back, like, I don't know, a few months back, maybe a year ago. I don't know how long ago it was because time seems to get out of my hand sometimes. But I did a video and I talked about my sister and my relationship to a small extent. I talked about the fact that I have a sister that went to college and a brother that went to college. I don't know if I mentioned my brother, but I think I did. But my brother also went to college, and that there was always this little bit of between me and my sister, you know, like when it's not like we don't like each other. We love each other dearly. But growing up, there's an 11-year difference between she and I, and she grew up in an era where, as a young Black woman, to go to college was such a big deal. We grew up in a small town in Virginia, and the success rate for young Black women going to college was not at its greatest. So for her, going to college meant so much, and it was something that she really wanted to do. So that being said, she went to college and became a school teacher. My brother also went to college and became a school teacher. I came along 11, 13 years later. Things were not the same. A lot of Black females went to college. It wasn't like, I mean, it's still, don't get me wrong, it's still a great thing to see anybody go to college. I don't care who you are. But it wasn't as, oh my God, you know, so-and-so went to college, you know. Myself personally, I mentioned in the video that I never really wanted to go to college. I never had that desire. I really wanted to be a housewife and a mother. And to my sister, that was not acceptable. She just did not want me to be that. She wanted me to be more. But that was her dream and not mine. I didn't need to prove anything to anybody other than myself. So I married my high school sweetheart who joined the military. We moved away from home to be with the military, and I was a housewife with him for a while. 3 years into our marriage, we had our son, who was planned. Where do I start? Okay, I think what I want to start with y'all first and foremost is just kind of explaining to you all a little bit about my career and how it got started. Now, I will say that at no point am I going to announce what my career is, and there is a reason behind that. First, it's not some fancy top security type stuff. It's not like anything, like you all already know that I didn't go to college. So it's not something that you have to have a master's in, you have to have a bachelor's in. You don't have to have anything really to get into this career field at entry level. I entered into this career field by accident, so to speak, when I was in Okinawa, Japan. I was a stay-at-home mom, which I absolutely loved. I wanted to have a little bit of separation between me and my son. So I actually first went to work at a local place there that had called Filene's House of Jade. I worked there as a part-time employee for probably about a year. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed, having that little separation from being at home every day to being away from my son, to where we were excited to see a home daycare provider. So he was actually getting the experience of someone else, but I didn't push him right over into daycare at that point. We made an easy transition. I was a person that lived in the same building that I lived in. I had known her for a while. I trusted her. She had a little girl and he loved her. So it was a very good environment. During all of this time, I was coming to the realization that my marriage was probably not going to be a long-lasting marriage. Things had started to happen in my marriage that led me to believe that I probably needed to seek out a choice of employment or career or something to be able to support myself in the event that I was no longer married. At that point, I applied for a position on the military installation. I got the position. It was at entry level. Like I said, you didn't have to have a college education to get this particular position. I walked into it. I loved it. I enjoyed it. I worked very hard at it because it was so exciting to me. I worked one-on-one with soldiers. I absolutely loved it. I loved the experience that it gave me. And so when I moved back stateside, I had the choice of staying home for a little while, which I did. I stayed home for a few months to allow to try to get my family situated and move into a home and all that good stuff. And then I decided that I was going to go back to work again. So I did go back to work. My son had started kindergarten at this point. It was a great move for us. I was enjoying it. This time I was given the opportunity to cross over to a different department. And I wasn't working on the military installation now. I was actually working out on the economy. I was loving the fact that I was meeting a different type of people now. I wasn't just meeting military people. I was meeting people that were from that area, had different walks of life. It was definitely an experience for me, and I absolutely loved it. Now, at that particular point, I met a lady within the same job that I had that was in an area, in the same area that I had the opportunity to move over in. And it was actually one of those things where I was moving at a different pace in the training program. So they moved me because the other people weren't moving up as fast as I was. They weren't learning as fast as I was. So they moved me over to this other department, kind of like to help. And that's where I met this lady. And then she realized she saw something in me. I saw something in her. We just kind of clicked. And because in this career field, there was mostly men doing this job, she really wanted to see me like really become another her. So she became my mentor and I absolutely loved it. I would come home with books and be like, I kind of thought for a short while that I wanted to be in corporate America. I wanted to do all this stuff because, I don't know, I just felt like I just wanted to do all this stuff. But then one day I was sitting at home and I looked at my little boy and I thought, I love being a stay-at-home mom. I don't know if this whole career stuff is really meant to back off of this a little bit. I don't want to be you. Like, I really don't. So that being said, I kind of backed off and I didn't really pursue it full force. Then we moved again, and that's where we moved to San Antonio. My husband went away for a year on a remote assignment. If you're familiar with the military, most military careers, especially Air Force, I don't know about other branches of service, but you're required to do at least one remote assignment during your enlistment time. And so it was his turn to do his remote assignment. He went away for a year. I was here in San Antonio and I had a son in school. So I was like, you know what? I need to work. And because of the job that I had, which is where I was before, people know people and people know people. So I was given the opportunity to work here again. on the military installation. So I went back to work, and I went back over into the area that I had previously started in. But this time I had a little bit of a bump up because I also extended my knowledge to a different department, but it was still within the same area. I liked that as well. I was here by myself. My son was at school during the day. This was awesome. It made the time fly by fast. But again, like I said, remembering the fact that my husband and I were probably not going to have a long-term marriage. Things were still on the rocky road. I kept it in the back of my mind in case that I was going to need to have something to fall back on in the event that the marriage didn't work. When he came back from his remote assignment, got divorced. Now, I, at that point, was still pretty much, I was about a step above entry level, I guess, or maybe 2 steps above entry level, perhaps. There's entry level, but then there's just like a wide range of what you can do within those levels that kind of bump you up to certain notches, but you're not like way up here either. It's hard to explain. But I was now the breadwinner of my own family. I needed to work. I needed to have a great income. And so I think I mentioned in a video recently that I made $20,000 a year. That is when I was on my own. I was freshly divorced. I had never lived on my own. I had to work very hard. There were times I worked 2 jobs to make ends meet. I went to my boss. I said, hey, you know what can I do to be promoted? What can I do to get to the upper level or the next level in my career field? They really didn't want me to move because they really liked what I did with the clients on the level that I was, because I was more interacted with the clients and they really liked me in that position. But I needed more money, so I kept at it. And I finally convinced them to give me a shot. Now I'm going to share this part with you all. At this point is when my career changed. At this point, I went from a regular person to management level. When I went to work one morning, and my boss walked up to me, called me in his office, and he said, you've been talking about being promoted. You've been talking about you need to make more money. Here's some keys. Here's some paperwork. We just purchased this other office. I need you to go over there. The people that are in that office, there's 3 of them that we need to let go. You're taking over one of the positions that's in that office, one of the people that you're going to be letting go. We're giving it to you on a temporary basis to see how you do. In 90 days, we'll have this conversation again, and we'll know, at that point, we'll be able to figure out what happens at that point. You stay, you go, whatever. You go back to being this, or you stay over here at that. That was my big break. I went in it full force. I was a single mom. I got to do this. I got to make an impression. I was scared out of my mind because I never really knew. Even though there were times that I wanted to be this career woman, I really still didn't really want to be a career woman. But I knew that I had to be a career woman. All of these thoughts were going through my head. I can't fail. My son needs to eat. I have to have a roof over my head. All of these thoughts were going through my head. So I'm going to use some very strong language right now. I worked my ass off. I worked my ass off every day. And I proved to them that I could do this job. I didn't have college education. I didn't have other training outside of, I didn't go to courses. I just walked in there and I picked up the pieces and I did what I had to do. And I was so proud of myself because I couldn't believe that I was doing it. And so at the end of the 90 days, I was given the title, and through that title, it opened so many other doors for me. I was still within that same company. I was given extra offices to control. I was able to, I moved into the training department because we were bringing in new employees and buying new offices, and they needed someone to train, and I was quote unquote an excellent trainer. I became a training director for a while. This is where things just really, really blossomed for me, but I was working my off. So that's how I got where I am now. I've moved to a lot of different jobs here in San Antonio. My longevity, I'm very dedicated. I don't like change. I don't, when it comes to like moving jobs. So I get to a company, I stay with them, I work my butt off, I do what's needed. I give it everything I got, and that's pretty much, that's my career. So when I went to work for my client for the year that I was working with him, he was one of my clients. He'd been my client, I think, for like 9 years, 7 or 9, I don't remember how long, but it was a long time. And we had a great rapport. I thought things would be great. When I went to work for his company, it was really with the intent that he and his wife were gonna travel, and they wanted someone to basically be the person of their business. Things went bad in their marriage ended. It really just kind of changed the whole dynamic. I wanted to take a chance. I wanted to see if I could do something else, because I was kind of like at a burnout point. I was kind of like feeling like this is all I've ever done. I want to know if there's anything else out there that I absolutely would love or enjoy, and it didn't work out. Honestly, sometimes I really get angry because I feel like, why did I ever even try to do something different? Because maybe if I would have stayed where I was, I wouldn't be in the shape that I'm in now. But at the same time, I'm very proud of myself, because that's the first time I ever took a chance like that. Because as a single mom, I only did what I knew was comfortable, because I couldn't afford change, because I knew I needed to take care of my family. So I never pursued things outside of, even though I loved the job that I was doing, there were other things that I really wanted to do. And I knew that I couldn't take those chances and be a single mom and be able, that what if I fail? But this job, I knew inside and out. I knew the basis of it. I knew so much about it. I stuck with it and stuck with it. And so I was really proud of myself to have the courage to walk away from it and try something new. It didn't work out for me, and every day I think about it. I'm not gonna lie, I do have that bounce back and forth. I do this, that type of feeling, which takes me to the next question. Someone asked me if I could go back to the place that I left before. The answer to that is I don't know. I guess I would say probably so. I didn't leave on bad terms, and my clients absolutely loved me. And if my clients walked in the door and I was sitting in my office again, they would be ecstatic, okay? But there is someone that took the spot that I had, and so they're working there. They have my office. They are the me in that company now. And so that position is not available. Could I go back and maybe work in another area? Probably so. But at this present moment, I really don't want to, because I needed a break from that company. Some things were happening. They weren't growing at a level that I really felt like I needed to grow in. They weren't expanding into the new world of technology the way other businesses were. And so I kind of don't want to go back there, because I would really love to go to somewhere else where where my knowledge would be broadened and not stagnant. So I don't really know the answer to that, other than perhaps, maybe, I'm not sure. Another question someone asked me, they said because I love homes and I love decorating and I love going to see new homes, someone asked me about getting my real estate license. This was an email that I got. I actually went to real estate school. I kind of said I didn't go to school, but I guess I kind of did. A few years ago, when I was contemplating changing my careers, I thought I'm gonna go to real estate school. So I went to school at night, and I achieved all of my credits for real estate. In theory, it sounds like a great idea. So I completed school, got all my certificates. I think at the end of the school session, you got one exam. Exams after that you had to pay for. So I was like, okay, I need to take a breather. I knew I was kind of trying to do too much at one time. I was trying to work and go to school, and I didn't really study the way I should have, because work was very demanding at that time. And I was dedicating more of my time to work than I was to studying for the exam. So I failed the first exam. And, but then the whole housing market, that's when all the banks were like, got all these dings for doing bad mortgages, and things just went completely like this. So at that point, I thought, okay, maybe I don't want to do that. I was at a point where in my second marriage, I was really, really having a hard time. Some financial issues were coming up. I was the only one having steady income. So at that particular point in the game, I knew that I couldn't like leave one career field and rely on the other one. This one was so demanding that it wasn't going to give me enough time to work on this career field. So I backed off. And at that point, like later on, fast forward, I kind of decided that sales is just not really my thing. Even though I know everyone tells me all the time, you're such a people person, you can sell, you can sell anything. I know I am a people person and I love people, but there's this thing about relying on sale income that really freaks me out. Even though I live on edge like a lot and I have like this, like I'm like one of these people that like some people see me and they think that I'm just like all the time. I guess I am in a sense, but I'm also very, very like serious minded, and selling scares the bejeebies out of me. I need to know that even if I only earn 50 cents a week, that's my 50 cents. I'm going to make my budget based on my 50 cents and I'm going to live accordingly. I can't handle if I make 50 cents this week, but I don't make anything the next week. And then the next week I make 100. And even though I know the value of budgeting and saving and all of that good stuff, it still just freaks me out because you can have a long time of not making anything. And so I didn't pursue the real estate career any further at that point. Now my certificates are still there. I would only be required to take what's considered a refresher course, probably like a quarter of the course of all the courses that you take, and they kind of like, they cram everything into like a quarter amount of the time. And then I could go back in and I could do my real estate license. And sometimes I have thought about that honestly, but again, that whole thought of being the salesperson, and that can't be like where I am right now. I don't have the time to not make money. I need to have a job that money's coming in. I don't have the time to invest in saying that I'm going to work my way, because you don't get to become a real estate agent and become successful all within the same week. If you go to a job where you're getting paid on a regular salary or whatever, then you know that this is what you're getting. In real estate, it will definitely be more downhill initially than uphill. And then, like I said, the whole how you make your money. So as of right now, as far as real estate, probably not going to be something I'm going to pursue, because I really, as much as I love homes, I can't do that right now. I just can't. Let me see, I'm trying to think of anything else that anyone asked me. I know someone emailed me and they were asking me about, as far as like my resume, I think it was someone that has like their own resume company maybe or something like that. Actually, I have the resources to someone here that worked with me to do my resume, and they have worked with resume companies themselves, and so I was fortunate enough to have that on my belt. I think I may have answered pretty much all of the questions. Some of it was probably a little bit more drawn out than it needed to be, but I think I really wanted to just kind of express and share with you all a little bit more. So hopefully you guys can kind of understand where I'm coming from a little bit more. Again, like I said, my career field, I'm never gonna at this point, I don't think I'm ever going to share exactly what it is that I do. There's just a lot of privacy that needs to take place within that career field for my clients, as well as safety. And again, like I said, it's not some high-powering type of a job. It's really not. It's just a job that I got into at entry level and was fortunate enough to work my way to the top. Kudos to everyone that went to college or, kudos to them. It's just not for me. And which I think that was another one of someone else that I think asked me about, taking this opportunity to go back to school. Not going to happen. I have no desire to go back to school. I am not a student. I know that for a fact. Some of us are and some of us aren't. Acquaintances in my life that I call them career students. Like they constantly go to school. To each their own, but it's just not for me. I'm not a student, okay? So I'm not gonna entertain the thought. I don't wanna entertain the thought. I think someone also asked me too, by the way, about a company that's here in San Antonio that's really, really big. I don't want to name that company either in case for some reason I ever decide to go work there. For me, that company is a stretch for me to go work there, and there's a lot of personal reasons why. But yeah, so for those who have asked me that question, and there are people that actually live here in my city and they kind of know about this company, but as of right now, I really don't want to. It's very, very structured. It's very, very, because at this point in the game, like I said, I'm not looking for a career. Like gosh, and I know that sounds totally weird and probably very confusing to y'all. Even though I need a career, what I'm saying is I don't want to, all that it would take to be at that company would be way more than I'm willing to invest at this point in the game. I've just worked too hard just to be where I am, and I'm very proud of the hard work that I did, but I don't want to go to this company and have to prove to them in their form of how they like things done. It's very confusing, and I hope you guys can respect the fact that that's the best way that I can explain it, and we're going to just leave it at that. But again, I think I now have answered everything for everybody. Again, I appreciate all of the questions, all of the loves, all the likes, all the hugs, all the kisses, all the how are you, all the DMs, everything. You guys have been absolutely amazing. And you know, I'm staying very strong. I do feel that while this is a little bit of a scary time for me, yes, it's gonna work itself out. I am going to get a job that's going to make me happy. I know that I am. I feel confident that I am. And so I'm just gonna remain true to those thoughts. I'm gonna keep prayed up, and I know that it's gonna happen. Anytime, you guys, please keep supporting my channel, giving me thumbs up, reaching out to me, sharing my videos. That means the world to me as well. It's time for us to bring this video to a close. I will see you guys in my very next video. Don't forget, comment, rate, and subscribe.